welcome to Highly Questionable. This is the final day that we have here with Dominique Foxworth. Not forever, but for this week. I didn't mean to sound so excited about that. What do you like on the show today, Dominique?
Oh, redemption for Kyrie.
Really? All right. Dale, papi.
Are you not confident that the Lakers will be a top contender?
All right, the last 10 years in this sport, roughly, have been Game of Thrones between LeBron James and Kevin Durant. You remember, it wasn't that long ago that Kevin Durant had that Sports Illustrated cover where he's talking about, I'm tired of second place. So he took the lead character in Game of Thrones, and now LeBron's got it right back, because all the Lakers had to do, for all the noise, for all the mismanagement, is get to free agency with a third max slot open and 2 superstars. They've done that. They're in a perfect position. And one of the great things about this shift, Dominique, because of course they're contenders now, is he's done this because he's got a movie on the side. He's got a shadow agency. You've got Anthony Davis doing something that doesn't seem to behoove him in waiving a $4 million trade kicker, but maybe they could pay him $4 million for doing Space Jam 2.
Yeah, that's where you're wrong. Maybe they could pay him there, but I think that'd be a little too obvious. But you could also argue that it is the smart thing to do for Anthony Davis to forego this $4 million because there's a lot more to be made as a dominant player on a contender that goes deep in the playoffs. $4 million in your pocket is nice, I agree, but it's not going to change his life nearly as much as maybe being the finals MVP would change his life. And giving that $4 million back to get in either one big player or a bunch of supporting players will make it more likely that Anthony Davis becomes more of a household name. Something like we think about Draymond Green, nowhere near as talented as Anthony Davis, but a lot more people know who Draymond Green is because of that fact, because he was on a great team and he's been in our face for many years. I think $4 million is a hell of an investment to become a national big name like Anthony Davis would become next to LeBron James.
Did you hear that LeBron is giving up his number?
That's right.
Oh, now he's wearing number 36.
36.
Yeah, because he's 3-6 in the finals.
That's not true.
That's right.
He's not
That's
wearing,
right.
I mean, it is true.
I'm telling
he's
you.
3-6 in the finals. It's not true that he's wearing 36. He's just wearing 6 for all 6 of the losses in the finals.
Is everyone being more optimistic about Kevin Durant's recovery than they should be?
I have always heard since watching basketball that guys of his size, when they have this particular injury, they do not come back from it. Basically, Dominique Wilkins in the history of Achilles injuries is the only guy to come back and be something close to himself. But here's the problem, Dominique. Kevin Durant is unlike anyone who has ever played the sport. We have never had a man of this size play that way, so I don't have any earthly idea how much it's going to impact his game, because at that size, you've never seen a 7-footer who plays that way. What are you going to do in terms of precedent when he has no precedent?
Right. We can all say and predict and hope and dream, but I think that he does have a great skill called shooting that never goes away. And you think of a guy who's that big, who is not nearly as explosive, because you would assume the thing that will be impacted by him having an Achilles injury is that explosion. You lose that explosiveness, and you could think of something similar to Dirk Nowitzki. That might be a bit of a stretch, but that's on the high end. But he'll never go back to the Kevin Durant that we've come to know and love. That's a perennial league MVP candidate.
The reason we're talking about this is because the New York Post talked to an expert at Northwestern who says 85% of the people who suffer this injury are out of the league within 2 years.
99% of players in the league are not Kevin Durant, too.
That's true.
Oh, he's going to sign with the Knicks. I see it coming, buddy. He is going to sign with the Knicks. And then he'll never play again.
Never play again. That's exactly
how
that's going to work.
He get a 5-year deal with the Knicks. I'm telling you.
You know what? This is what's going to happen. If he goes to Brooklyn, he's going to be Hall of Fame season after Hall of Fame season. If he goes to New York, never play again.
Have we been unfair to Kyrie Irving?
Okay, Jackie McMullen is saying it is not all 100% Kyrie Irving's fault with her reporting on ESPN.com. She's putting some of the blame on his teammates in Boston. And when you look at the reporting on this, that Kyrie Irving was trying at a game here in Miami to get his teammates to not go out until 5 o'clock in the morning, and that the season basically fell apart from right there, where he wasn't the kind of leader that they needed, but they didn't want to be led either. You can put blame elsewhere if you like. The whole thing was a failure, so it doesn't matter where the blame goes.
Yeah, it does matter to me, though, because I think the blame falls on the coach. And this exposes one of the most interesting things to me about being a coach in the NBA is it's not about X's and O's. And it's not necessarily about having the best player all the time. It's about being able to relate to them personally and understand where they're coming from and motivate all the players. And that's something Brad Stevens hasn't been able to do with top-level talent. He's been a guy who overachieves with lower-level talent, but you put in a bunch of big names, the type of players that you would suspect could win a championship, the type of players players who can play on the perimeter and switch and hit threes and pass the ball and do everything you need, and that's when they underachieve. So I think it falls on Brad Stevens, and hopefully this will be something he can learn from and improve upon, and it's not all on Kyrie. It's too easy.
Do you know who was with the Celtics that night?
Who? Oh, wow, at Club Live. Bobby was buying the drinks at Live.
We had bottle service all night long, all night long. Coming up next on my son Stevie's show.
Because of this one incident, I had issues of when I would sit down, people would look at me crazy because I was always looking over my shoulders like, what's wrong with you?
My son Stevie's show is brought to you by Duracell. Trust is power. Bro!
Stuber in theaters July 12th.
Joining us at the beach today, Warwick Dunn.
Oh, my father, I like the way he says that. He joins us on behalf of the Warwick Dunn Charities. Let's go deep with him about overcoming the loss of his mother and how his charity work has been therapy. Let's go. Warwick, you and I have spoken before about the kind of work that you do. It's a very unique kind of giving. You find single mothers worthy of your financial support, and you build homes for them. Can you explain to the audience why that is such a personal cause to you?
Well, it's personal because at the age of 18, my mom was a Baton Rouge City police officer that was killed in the line of duty. And I knew that her dream was to own her own home. And I could tell you my rookie year, when I got drafted by the Bucks, Coach Dungy challenged all the rookies about getting involved, giving back to the community. If you're going to live here, you want to give back. And I was trying to figure out what I was passionate about, what I can get behind and really support. And I thought about my mom and her dream of home ownership. So we've been able to truly impact families over the last 21 years of living out her dream.
You were denied what so many athletes love, the top of the mountaintop, buying your mother a home because of all she had invested in you. So this is partially because you want to keep doing that. If you couldn't do it with your own mother, you want other people to have it.
Yeah, well, just over the years, what I've learned is that this program was therapy for me. I didn't go to counseling until 10 years after my mom had passed. So over the years, I used this program as therapy because I wanted to see other people live out her dream. I wanted other kids to have the ability and opportunity to grow up and have a stable environment so they perform better in school. And being able to have that opportunity to use this program as therapy over the years has just been a positive thing from my standpoint.
Can you explain what you mean by that when you say therapy? You're meeting other people, you're recounting your story, you're exploring some of the things that make this so hurtful, right? Because you've been shaped in adulthood by everything that happened with her passing.
Over the years, when I say I've used it as therapy, it's like I'm able to share her moment with other single-parent families. I'm able to spread her message of commitment, hard work, sacrifice over the years. And I'm actually able to look at different characteristics in all of these families to see that this is what my mom would have wanted. She would want this experience. And I didn't go to therapy until 10 years after I started this program. And I was in a place that, yeah, I wasn't unhappy, but I'm sure early on I never talked, I never smiled. I wasn't enjoying life.
Warwick, I remember. This has done some healing for you. I remember those 10 years in the league. You were at the height of success, and you were a recluse. You were to yourself. You didn't want to be sharing much of anything with anybody.
No, I didn't. And I just happened to move to Atlanta and hear a teammate in the locker room talk about another guy going to counseling to play the game of football. And for me, I just thought that was strange to play the game of football. I mean, I could do that in my sleep, but I thought about myself later on that night and felt like maybe I need to do that for myself. So I think I was just in a place where it was time for me to grow up and really help myself become a better human being, a better person. And I started counseling, and just the first year, I would tell you, the first 9 months, I never looked a counselor in the eye. I can tell you, really talk about the room. I could have drew the room back then. But then once I got comfortable and I was able to express myself, I was starting to look her in the eye and have conversations with her. And just over the years, I got to the point where I was putting the pieces of my life back together, and I got to a point where I wanted to go and sit down with the guy who shot and killed my mom. And that was a challenge for me to do that, because I wanted to talk to him, because I wanted to take that power back and create more peace in my life so that I can continue to move forward.
What was that like? How did you arrive in the place where you are talking to the man who killed your mother?
Well, I was in counseling, and I was searching for answers. So once I started counseling, I shared my story, but I had a lot of questions about the why I didn't want to have a family of my own, hold another woman's hand, just have all of these things, or even celebrate my own birthday, certain holidays. And this one person took all of that away from me. So I was searching for peace so that I can move forward, because I didn't have any hatred for this individual after going to counseling. I just wanted to create a better environment for myself and my family by, finding a way to get the peace. And going and sitting across from him, it was a round table set across from him in a room, not behind bars, and just had a conversation. And before I went in, the warden was like, hey, he's not going to admit that he did it, so just be prepared for that. And he actually said, hey, it wasn't me. And I said, I don't care who it is. I just want to come here and say, I forgive you. You've taken so much of my life away from me that I want it back. And I just shared how he's impacted every aspect of my life, and I shared how my family felt. And after that, I just felt like I took my life back. I was at peace, and I just wanted to move forward.
You had a hard time getting to a place where you would want to hold a woman's hand. I guess you're saying there that being close to anybody was something that you, outside of your immediate family, being close to anybody was how hard for how long?
Well, I wasn't, I didn't want to have a family. My mom was my best friend. So as a young boy, I thought my mom was, it's like, I'm a protector. This is my girlfriend, and she treated me like her little man. For me, I just felt like when my mom passed, a lot of that wanting to have my own family, wanting to, do a lot of these things that kids do. And I didn't enjoy college. I didn't go out. I didn't party. I didn't have those experiences because my focus wasn't on that. My focus was on making sure the kids and the family have everything I didn't have every opportunity that I didn't have. And not wanting to hold a woman's hand, not wanting to say the words, I love you, because I felt like that was going to be regret, or that I was going to be turning my back on my mom. I mean, it's just a lot of things. I wouldn't go in public and hold hands with another woman anywhere. I mean, it was kind of frightening. And because of this one incident, I had issues of when I would sit down, people would look at me crazy because I was always looking over my shoulders like, what's wrong with you? I mean, what's the problem? And from counseling, what I learned is that I knew my mom was ambushed, and I thought something like that would happen to me. So I was afraid that when I'm 36 years old, that someone may try to kill me. So it was subconsciously, I was dealing with a lot of issues, but it's just over time you grow, and I've just grown, and I'm much more comfortable.
Nice talking to you, Warwick. Nice talking to you.
Yes, sir.
My father was telling me off of air, he admires you very much.
Yes.
He would never say that on air because he's got to keep on his gangster persona. But off air, he would like you to know that he very much admires and respects what you do.
No, thank you. Over the years, because my dad was never involved in my life, right? I didn't meet my dad until I was 14 years old. And the last time I saw my dad and talked to my dad was my last football game in college in 1997, January 2nd, 1997. And over the years, I had a father figure in my life, a guy named Malin Brooks, who taught me the game of football. He helped guide me and taught me about life. He was my father figure. So as individuals that I've gone places and I've had to grow up, a guy taught me how to tie my tie in a bathroom at a function, right? I've learned things from different men over the years that have been there for me in my time of need. So I'm thankful for, dads who are involved and are passionate about making sure You know, we know what we need to know growing up. And there's a lot of things that I have no idea about, that I'm immature about, because I didn't have someone there to help support me and teach me the little things that I need to know to become a man. So I'm very immature in some ways in my life, but I'm mature definitely beyond my years when it comes to parenting.
Well, I tell you one thing. You are the tallest man in this conversation.
The tallest man in this conversation. My father is giving you a strong compliment there. That was not a short joke.
Well, it's not meant
No,
to be
I
a
appreciate
joke.
that. Thank you.
Warwick, always a pleasure. Thank you for always being so honest with your story.
I appreciate you guys having me on, and keep it up.
Nice talking to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
The mutual insurance only pay for what you need. Time to play the game that has a rash on his inner thigh that won't go away. Do you have any idea what could be causing it? Do you question?
You give us topics and events, we question them.
Do you question if Cody Bellinger earned this home run?
All right, baseball is weird this way. A couple of years ago, Cody Bellinger is great. Last year, he wasn't great. Now he is great again. This is his 27th home run. Did he earn it, or did David Dahl just give it to him?
On this 0-1. Hits one in the air to center field that sends Blackman back to the edge of the warning track at the wall. It's off him and gone. It bounces.
Yeah, that's definitely an earned home run. You hit it out there, it bounces off, doesn't matter. They count it. A year from now, we're not going to look back and say he had 26 home runs because one bounced off his hand. We count that. Give that man a bigger check.
Oh, that was bad, but you know, I have seen worse.
Oh, yes, Canseco. Give us Canseco.
Yeah,
the greatest
yeah.
play in sports
There we go.
history right here. There is no greater play in the history of
Jose,
sports.
bad.
Yes, there is Joseito. A ball bouncing higher than you think it could off a human skull.
Time to play the game that is excited to not have to see Dan for next week. See? Oh, no.
That's right. We're on vacation next week. You tell us what to watch on television tonight. We'll tell you if we're intrigued.
Tonight at 7:05 p.m. in Argentina on Sky Sports Arena, the Super Rugby semifinal between Los Jaguares and Brumbies.
Okay, excellent Spanish, just like the Democratic Convention, third grade Spanish. On this, our Hispanic show, let's see what we have here.
Victory that would lift them.
This is an injury, we are told. This guy got up from,
They're not there yet.
kept playing after whatever happens here. What just happened? He's slapping his...
29 years of age.
That's
Look at it.
a dislocated kneecap.
Oh, that must hurt a little bit. All right. Again, he stayed in the game, and that injury, not as bad as our producer's Spanish. Dominique, are you intrigued?
No, I'm not intrigued. And there's a difference between being tough and dumb tough, and that's dumb tough. Get off the field.
How about you, Poppy? Are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. That rugby guy is tough, but not as tough as this one.
Who?
Oh, look at that guy. All right, you get talking. I got him. Total package.
Oh, go get some extra. You didn't need to do that. I love that guy. Get out the way.
That was a cheap shot at the end there.
I was
The other
trying to
guy, that's
decide
right.
whether my childhood was more represented by the green helmet or the orange helmet. Let's see this again so you guys can decide for yourself here. Who is more Dan in his childhood? No, this guy in the green helmet. That guy right there.
Go get some extra. Oh.
Maybe it was
That
the
one.
purple.
Yeah. All right, that was a hell of a tackle right at the end.
On Showtime tonight, the documentary 100% Julian Edelman.
Showtime is doing some interesting stuff with sports, making attempts to show you the lives of some of these guys. What did they do with Edelman? Are you intrigued?
I was going to say no, but watching that trailer got me a little intrigued. See.
What about you, Poppy? Are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. You know, I love Julian Edelman, but I prefer the short film of Tom Brady.
The short. See, my father is a great actor. He can recreate it, and he doesn't even need to have an actual cookie or anything to eat. That was just an imaginary, invisible thing that he pulled out of his fingers.
Now
That
what's
was
going on?
unbelievable.
What's going on now?
Whoa!
What's going on?
Whoa! Something's undulating under there. Unpleasant! Unpleasant!
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
See you In a week.
You want to see something funny?
Instant analysis, USA France. We start with that indescribable game. And wow, what a set piece. And VAR. Am I right? They went to the extreme. And the best team in red, white, and blue won. Let's go around the horn.